What's up, comic comrades? Are you ready for another trip to the Multiverse of Madness? I know I am. Let me tell you about the creepy Doctor Strange that showed up in the latest trailer for the sequel. As always, stay tuned to the end of the video and don't forget to hit that like button to subscribe and attune to that notification bell. The Disney Plus Loki series introduced the concept of variants into the MCU, with numerous different versions of Loki appearing throughout the show, some very similar to the character audiences know, and others drastically different. This multiverse of countless diverged timelines and variations on iconic characters was again explored in Marvel's What If series and Spider-Man No Way Home. Doctor Strange 2 will be diving into the after effects of No Way Home and the larger multiverse as a whole. After Loki and Peter Parker, Stephen Strange is the next MCU hero to face alternate versions of himself in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It'll be exciting to see how the sorcerer handles the experience, especially considering that one or more of the variants will seemingly be one of the villains of Doctor Strange 2. Stephen Strange's evil variant was first introduced into the MCU in Episode 4 of Marvel's What If. Instead of injuring his hand in an accident, Doctor Strange lost the love of his life, Dr. Christine Palmer, and no amount of time travel could reverse that event. Strange eventually concluded that he simply wasn't powerful enough to save her, which set him on an irreversibly destructive path. The sorcerer grew corrupt in his pursuit of more power, becoming the strongest and only person remaining in his ruined universe. Evil Doctor Strange's transition into live action has many exciting possibilities for Multiverse of Madness. As a darker, more powerful version of Strange, he has the potential to be one of the primary villains in the upcoming movie, and revealing the character at the end of the trailer was a fun promotional choice to help highlight just how different the movie can be compared to previous MCU films. Restraint Supreme returns in What If's final episode, leading the Guardians of the Multiverse, a team assembled by the Watcher to fight an Infinity Stone-fueled version of Ultron. The mission is successful, and What If concludes with Strange watching over the Infinity Stones inside a frozen pocket dimension. Now, there is no guarantee that the pale wizard in Doctor Strange 2's trailer is the Strange from What If, but if it looks like a Strange Supreme, swims like a Strange Supreme, and quacks like a Strange Supreme, it's probably Mephisto.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Nah, it's probably a Strange Supreme. It is natural to think that if the MCU multiverse already has an evil Doctor Strange, he's the one who has shown up in the trailer of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's completely possible that the movie will pick up the thread What If started. It might even be likely. But there are also a lot of worlds in the multiverse, and there could be more than one evil Doctor Strange out there. You know, an infinite universe pretty much guarantees it. That being said, I do believe this is definitely Strange Supreme. It just makes so much sense to use him and make him another amazing MCU villain. Everybody has a dark side, and Doctor Strange is no different. Fans of the character are already aware that he's arrogant. It is in fact his egotistic personality that makes Christine break up with him in the movie universe. But while Strange may not be perfect, his courage is undeniable, as evidenced by the way he takes a stand against Dormammu.
Strange is meant to be the best of us.
So he must have done it for a reason.
I fear you might be right.
After Christine's death, Stephen Strange Supreme's courage manifests in his defiance of the rules, and in his determination to do anything to get her back. Unlike his counterpart, his hands are never injured, so he is even more arrogant and refuses any advice that might thwart him. And representing the dark side of the Sorcerer Supreme, he's definitely not a foe to be taken lightly. Strange Supreme may have taken a questionable path, but his motivation is incredibly relatable. Everything he does is for love. While his affection for Christine gradually turns into a poisonous obsession, it is still recognizable as a form of love. Few people could claim that in his shoes they would have acted differently. After all, when a loved one dies, any one of us would move heaven and earth to save them. To get them back, who wouldn't take terrible risks? In the wake of Avengers Endgame, the Infinity Stones are no longer an issue in the main timeline of the MCU, but the same thing cannot be said about other universes, where the Infinity Stones continue to exist. And Doctor Strange Supreme remains the guardian of the Time Stone, and has used it on innumerable occasions throughout his quest to save Christine. The return of the Time Stone has game-changing potential in the MCU. Its original version in the movies was used only a scant number of times, with the most memorable instances being Strange's battle with Dormammu and Thanos' resurrection of Vision. Perhaps Strange Supreme will change that. OG Strange's most remarkable moment is without a doubt his bargain with Dormammu. He exposes himself to a time loop of constant death, all for the sake of forcing Dormammu's retreat and saving the world. Unfortunately, the lingering trauma resulting from the incident is never addressed. Call it a missed opportunity for the character. Stephen Strange Supreme also enters a time loop, although in his case it is because of his constant inability to change Christine's fate. As her death is a fixed point in time, he is helpless to save her. That trauma of witnessing her die time and time again may have been worse than his own repeated demise, and this time the emotional toll it takes on the character is actually explored. This is all remarkable considering the short runtime of What If episodes. After a confrontation with the Ancient One, Doctor Strange is left with no choice but to admit he isn't powerful enough to save his lover. But he doesn't let that stop him. Instead, he seeks out the lost library of Cagliostro, and he spends centuries there absorbing monsters and accumulating power. Combined with his trauma and need to save Christine, the dangerous rituals create significant mental issues. It's not unusual for antagonists to suffer from some kind of mental instability, and we see that very well translated into some of the most recent MCU additions, including characters like Dr. Octopus and the Green Goblin. The discrepancy between the two Doctor Stranges may give MCU writers a chance to tackle the subject with sensitivity, instead of villainizing mental health conditions. Moving on, Doctor Strange has always been a powerful character, and his more recent showing in Spider-Man No Way Home points out just how much he can affect the world itself. Presumably, it is his excessive display of magic, the fact that he tempers with reality, that triggers the appearance of his alternate self. But despite Strange's recklessness, a brief comparison with his what-if equivalent suggests that he's actually quite restrained. The true destructive potential of the character makes it clear that, despite all of Strange's mistakes, he remains aware of his limits and of the boundaries he isn't supposed to cross. The same thing cannot be said for Doctor Strange Supreme. The sequel will also bring back Wanda Maximoff. After the events of WandaVision, she is more powerful than ever, having embraced her true fate as the Scarlet Witch. As a result, it's incredibly difficult to find antagonists who can challenge her. Luckily, Strange Supreme is an excellent option. A highly skilled sorcerer with centuries of study under his belt, he may very well possess both the knowledge and the raw power to take down the recently awakened Scarlet Witch. And Wanda's recent acquisition of the Darkhold could rapidly become an issue, perhaps even a double-edged blade for the young witch.
I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic.
Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme.
The Book of the Damned, created out of dark matter, may finally propel Wanda over the edge, especially in the context of a conflict with Doctor Strange Supreme. Despite all of his magic, Supreme isn't actually able to bring Christine back until he absorbs one final entity, himself. In a final bid to save the universe, the Ancient One separates Strange into two, creating a second Stephen who accepts Christine's death. Unfortunately, the good Stephen loses the battle to his darker side, leading to the destruction of their universe. Therefore, Strange Supreme has already destroyed one version of himself. It'll be interesting to see if he intends to do the same with his movie counterpart. As difficult as it may be to consider, Strange Supreme can come off as more likable than his original variant. His grief and love for Christine sometimes creates a warmer version of the character. The main Strange takes a more rational approach to life and is, for the most part, dedicated to fulfilling his duties as a sorcerer. But that does make him seem more emotionally removed and less connected to that part of him that is strictly human. Supreme, on the other hand, may have made all the wrong choices, but the depth of his emotions still earns him a lot of fans. His bond with Christine is also different, as in What If, he appears to treat her with far less dismissiveness than his movie equivalent. Bottom line, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Lord Acton's words, spoken in the 19th century, are still true today, and are a perfect match for the character of Strange Supreme. Be that as it may, while relatable and genuine, his character is nevertheless corrupted, and he acknowledges this himself. In What If, he even expressed regret over his actions, but depending on his future choices and those of his alternate self, that regret may not matter. He may be seeking a second chance in the main movie universe, and hope can be just as insidious and dangerous as power. So, do you think Doctor Strange Supreme will show up in the Multiverse of Madness? Who will win in this battle of variants? I vote the OG Strange. Share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Peace out!